So, you know, those people abroad might be wondering why the Japanese are so, keen on having the Olympics. Of course, the games of the Olympics is a huge thing everywhere. But if you know Japan to some extent, the fact is that the Japanese are really, really enthusiastic about the whole Olympics movement. And, some people might be wondering. I think there are some historical reasons. When Japan modernized, the Japanese people, Japanese government, were very keen to be accepted into the international society as, upcoming uh, excellent member of the international committee. So from the Meiji Restoration, that was when Japan started to modernize in 1867, it has been one of the passions of the Japanese nation to be a member, a proper member of the respected society of the international community. So to hold and to host Olympics was considered to be one of the symptoms that you have been accepted into the club. So that is probably one of the reasons why the Japanese people are so enthusiastic about the Olympics. Now, and in addition to that, during the Second World War, in the running up to the Second World War, I guess there my history knowledge becomes kind of fuzzy. The Tokyo Olympics that was there. I mean, so they planned to hold the Tokyo Olympics in 2000. No, I mean 1930 something or 40 something, 19 something I think. But it was cancelled because of the war. So no, so that was the first chance for Tokyo to host the Olympics. Then came the great Tokyo Olympics of 1964. I was 1 year and something, so I don't remember anything. But that became a legendary experience for the Japanese people because Japan was finally accepted into the club of the elite nations in the world after the calamities of the Second World War. So that was then. And now, this Olympics, Tokyo 2020, came at a time when Japan was suffering from this lost decades of economic stagnation and, a feeling of a loss of purpose and, all these things. So I think the Japanese government wanted to have the Olympics as a means to boost the morale of the peoples of Japan, and that part I can understand. So that's probably why this postponement of Tokyo 2020 and possible cancellation of it, if things don't improve next year, is doing such a fatal, maybe a fatal blow to the morale of the nation because the Olympics meant so much to the people of Japan. It's not just one of these Olympics. I mean, it was a very important means to boost the national psyche. So I would be very intrigued to know, as somebody who is based in Tokyo, what would happen if the Olympics is to be cancelled. I think Japan as a nation would have some really serious soul-searching time, self-reflecting time after that, if the Olympics should be cancelled. And if the Tokyo Olympics can go ahead next year, that would be really good thing for Japan as a nation. But at the same time, I think after this experience, postponement, global pandemic, and so on, I think probably Japanese people might be much more mature because probably they have been shaken out of their long-held dreams of this illusion of international club of respectable and prosperous nations, maybe the Japanese people would become more realistic and take the Olympic Games at their face value. And probably then we can start to rebuild Japan 2.0, where we can tend to essential values which have been really important for our lives and probably for the rest of the world all this while.